What is up, everybody? We are back here at King Films for another video. This one, the NFL Divisional Round game predictions and betting locks. And I actually had a great week last week. Very entertaining weekend of football. 6-game slate, super wildcard weekend. Had some entertaining finishes and a couple of upsets that we'll get to in our recap here. So first with the betting locks, was immensely successful, went 4-1. And you see first I had Colts Bills. I had the Colts +7, and they ended up covering with a final score of 27-24. And really, I thought the cover was out the window because the Colts played a perfect game in the first half. I think they owned time possession somewhere around 2-1 in the first half. Their running game was going. They were in Bills territory in every possession in the entire game, for that matter. They outgained the Bills. And really, they played the first half perfectly, and they were losing at halftime 14-10. I thought this game was over. I thought the cover was out the window, but the Colts end up coming back a little bit in the second half and could have ended up winning the game if Phillip Rivers is better on that final drive, or if the Colts defenders pick up that ball that Josh Allen fumbled with about 3 and change left in the game. That could have been crucial there for a Colts upset victory, but all we needed here was it to be a close game within a possession, and that it was, so get the cover there. Then Rams at the Seahawks. I had a funny feeling that although these two teams played in the same game 2 weeks earlier, and the Seahawks won a low-scoring, ugly game, that the Rams would find a way to pull it out, and that they did. Russell Wilson was really never able to get going in this one. The Rams defense absolutely stifled him. He was clamped down. He even threw a pick six and generally was terrible for his standards in this game. And the Rams D-line got to him. They got at least 5 sacks in this one. It wasn't so much that John Wolford or Jared Goff for the last 3 quarters of the game was that good. It was just the Cam Akers-led running game for this Rams offense. So they were able to punch in a few scores, and their defense honestly carried them through that one. So they get the 30-20 win, outright victory against the Seahawks, and I had them at +3, so 2-0. Then we had the football team covering 8.5, and I picked the football team outright. I thought they'd have Alex Smith, which I thought would make a big difference, but honestly it didn't. Taylor Heinicke played the game of his life in this one. We'll see what his NFL future has in store for itself, but he played great in this one, kept the football team afloat, and I was just brutally wrong with my prediction that the football team defense would absolutely stifle Brady in this one. I mean, the Buccaneers from the gate to the fourth quarter when they needed to put up points, they put them up. 31 points, they honestly could have put up more, and that honestly blew the under. I thought it was going to be a very low-scoring, ugly game, and that it was not, so the over actually ended up hitting there. So 3-1 going into Sunday, and then the highest total was this Sunday morning matchup, Ravens-Titans, and I just thought this was going to be a physical battle where teams try to dominate time possession and assert the running game, and that's not really how it went. I mean, the Titans never really got the ground game going, but really Ryan Tannehill never got going either, which obviously contributed to the Titans' downfall. And I mean, Lamar Jackson, he had that one very good run, but it's not like they were dominating time possession in this one. It was kind of a sloppy game, ugly game that the Ravens ultimately had the momentum after the second quarter and were able to win, but pretty low scoring, 20-13. The under 55 hit by a lot. And so those are the best bets, went 4-1 there, and then you can see my outright winners. The only other games that I didn't touch on were the Saints beating the Bears. That was not an entertaining game. Mitch Trubisky and the Bears offense really didn't do anything the entire game, although the Bears defense was impressive in the first half against Drew Brees. I mean, that could be a storyline for the Bucs defense against the Saints in this upcoming week. And then obviously the Browns get the huge upset over the Steelers. I mean, the first play was a microcosm of the game, and Browns get up 28-0 in the first quarter. Steelers cannot recover. Big Ben and the Steelers get bounced out after an 11-0 start. So now you see my NFL game predictions on the year. Small sample this week, only 6 games, but went 4-2. And then the betting locks, pretty impressive, 4-1. So we are back to below 2 games of 500. My goal for the end of this season, obviously we have the divisional round, conference championship, and then Super Bowl, is to get above 500 or at least 500 in the betting locks. So we will see if I can start to do that this week. So now we get into the divisional round matchups, and this one is a great one to start off the week. We have the 6-seeded Rams pulling off the upset against the Seahawks against the Packers, and the Packers, the 1 seed, expected to be very cold weather in this one, and I'm going to take the Packers narrowly in this one. I mean, I think the Rams defense obviously played great last week against the Seahawks. I think they'll be able to cause some havoc here for the Packers in the first half. But ultimately, I think Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's gotten bounced out in Lambeau Field a few times that he shouldn't have. He's had some playoff woes, losing to the Giants those couple of times, losing to the Niners once, games that he should have won. And this is the game that the Packers should win. I mean, they've been dominant all season against teams that they should beat. So give me them here. It'll be an interesting matchup between Jalen Ramsey and Devontae Adams, but I just think these Packers receivers are going to get open. Aaron Rodgers is a great cold weather quarterback, and I think they will be able to pound the rock in this one against the Rams defense. And ultimately, it comes down to Jared Goff against this Packers defense. Packers coming off a bye week, and Jared Goff was not great last week. I mean, obviously, he's still dealing with the thumb injury, and I mean, if they can dominate time of possession with Cam Akers, kind of like they did last week with the Seahawks, I mean, maybe they stand a chance in this one. I think it's close in the first half, but the Packers kind of pull away in the second half. Give me the Packers there. Next game, we have the Ravens-Bills. And this one, to me, I really did not know who to pick. Because in my original predictions, I had the Ravens going to the AFC Championship, and this was actually my AFC Championship prediction. I had the Ravens at the Bills, where I had the Bills winning, and I'm going to stay with the Bills winning. That performance last week was not convincing by the Bills, but neither was it for the Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he did eliminate some of the playoff narratives as 0-2, finally got his playoff victory, but I mean, he did not look great in the passing game. He's going to have to do a lot better, and this is going to be in frigid temperatures. Snow showers are forecasted for this one, so he's got to be a lot more electric for the Ravens to win this game. He's going to have to put up more than 20 points. I think this one might be a shootout in Buffalo. The Bills, honestly, their defense has to play a lot better in this one. I mean, they cannot be outgained as bad as they were against Indianapolis and think that they still have a shot to win in the fourth quarter in this one. I think they need to get up early. I think that was the wake-up call they needed against the Colts because they were playing great football down the stretch in the regular season. Obviously, that wasn't their best game against the Colts. I think they play much better here and get the victory over Baltimore. Next game, we have the Browns at the Chiefs. And give me the Chiefs in this one. Mahomes and Andy Reid off of a double bye. They didn't play in Week 17, obviously, and then obviously had the bye in the wild card round. So I think this is an interesting matchup because there's two ways to beat the Chiefs. Either you do what the Raiders did earlier in the season, I think it was Week 5, where they just went into a shootout. Derek Carr and the Raiders offense basically played a perfect game, put up 40 points. Or you do what teams did in the 2019 season, and you just dominate time possession. You run the ball in the Chiefs' defense, which honestly has not been very impressive throughout the latter stages of the season, and you do it that way. You just keep Mahomes off the field. And I think the Browns will be able to do it to a certain extent. They're obviously getting a few players back over the COVID-19 reserve list, getting Coach Stefanski back. He will be amped to coach in this one. He'll have some play calls up his sleeve. But Andy Reid and Mahomes off of a double bye, and the Chiefs are just the superior team at home, the 1 seed. I think if they're going to lose in this playoffs, it's not going to be to this Browns team. But watch out. I think they might be on upset alert, especially because of those slow starts that they had last season in the postseason. I mean, it was cool that they came back from double digits in every game last year and won the Super Bowl. But the reality is that's just not sustainable in the playoffs. I think they're going to have to get to a hot start early if they want to go on a Super Bowl run. Next, we have a great game between Tom Brady and Drew Brees, the Bucs and the Saints, Part 3. The Saints obviously winning the first 2 games. I predicted them to win the first 2 games, even in Week 9 when everyone was picking the Bucs. And for the third one, give me the Saints to complete the 3-game sweep over the Bucks. And I am very uneasy about this pick because, I mean, the Bucks offense looked very good against the football team defense last week. Put up 31 points. And I mean, I don't know if the Saints offense can keep up with Drew Brees. I mean, I really don't know what he's going to be able to do against this Bucks defense. I mean, they were stifled in the first half against Khalil Mack and the talented Bears defense. But I think that the Saints defense matches up well with the Bucks offense. They held them to 3 points in week 9 and on that Sunday night football game, and that's what really dominated the game for them. So I say the Saints defense has a great game against Brady. I say they do what the football team were supposed to do last week. Get some pressure on Tom Brady. He makes some mistakes, and the Bucks lose the game as the Saints advance to the NFC Championship. So now to my betting locks, and obviously only 4 games this week. I have 3 locks, and none are totals this week. Just the spread of the games, and not doing this Rams-Packers game because I think the spread is about right on the money. It's about 6.5, 7, depending where you look, and I really don't know on that one. So here we go. First one, I have the Bills at -2.5. I mean, this is basically a money line pick because there's very few instances where the game ends up in a team winning by 1 or 2. So I really feel confident that the Bills are going to win this game on Saturday night. And really, Josh Allen needs to play a better game than he did against the Colts. But I like the Bills matchup against the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens defense did play a pretty good game last week, but I don't think they're going to be that good against Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen was unstoppable in the latter stages of the regular season. I say they get back to that, and they're able to put up, let's say, 28-plus points. And I just don't know about Lamar in the playoffs. Can he outduel Josh Allen? I think not. Give me the Bills at -2.5. Next best bet Sunday morning, we have Browns at Chiefs. And give me the Browns +10. And I know this may be a very ugly pick to some. A lot of people think the Chiefs are just going to run over Cleveland in this one. It was all fun and games that Cleveland won against the Steelers last week, but they're going to get it handed to them this week. No, I think this is going to be a closer game than people think. I know that Andy Reid has some insane record off of a bye, including playoffs. I think he's 26-5, but they might get out to a slow start like last year. And even if they don't, I mean, I think that the Browns can stay in this game. If anything, I think the Steelers' defense presented more of a challenge to Baker and the Browns' running game than the Chiefs do. I think the Browns can have some 8-minute drives where they just chew clock and are able to run the ball down the field and convert some touchdowns. And it ultimately comes down to the red zone efficiency for both of these teams. If the Browns defense can be clutch and maybe force some turnovers by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense as they did against the Steelers, I mean, this may well be an upset outright. I'm not predicting that, but I think it's going to be within the 10-point spread there. And the last betting lock, I'm taking the Saints -3 in this one. I am a bit concerned about this one because I really think that it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. But this one, I mean, Drew Brees, this is going to be his last playoff run, and they have been upset early the last 3 seasons. You go back to the Minneapolis Miracle in 2017. You go back to that blown PI call, 2018. And then the controversial Rudolph PI call in 2019 where the Saints really should have won all 3 of those games. So they're not going to be bounced out early in another game. I know this means a lot to both of these veteran quarterbacks, but I think the Saints have the better roster, and I think they're going to come away with this victory here. So give me the Saints -3. I could get a push here at worst if the Saints win, but if the Saints win, I probably cover the spread there. So that's my third best bet, and I'm honestly kind of scared because I did pick all favorites this week, and I mean, usually there are a lot of upsets in wild card round, but it usually starts to taper off as you get into the divisional, but this is a new playoff format, so we will see if the trends continue. Comment your predictions down below. Do you think there will be a couple upsets, or do you agree with me? Comment your locks down below. I want to know, and I will see you in the next one.